Yes, Red Zone TV kwoli webale kubanga okyagoberera yonna gy'osinzira okubanga gy'otulabira kyokola kya mutawaana nnyo gwa kyatambula naffe ku mukutu ogwa Red Zone TV. Njagala okutegeeza nti waliwo ekigenda mu maaso, waliwo okwekalakaasa mu ggwanga erya Switzerland nga bannayuganda abali sayidi eyo abawangalira sayidi eyo boolekera obanga bagenda okulaga obutali bumativu bwabwe eri gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Switzerland wakati mu kubeera nti y'emu ku gavumenti ezoogerwako ezimu kwezo eziwa obuyambi gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Uganda. Bano nga bagamba era nga balumiriza nti obuyambi bwe muwa mwe nga gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Switzerland, obuyambi bwe muwa gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Uganda, obuyambi buno tebabukozesa mu nkozesa ntuufu mu bandi badde babukozeseza. Bano nga bagamba nti ssente ze muwa gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Uganda njagala nokanookawo obudde kubanga ebigambo ebirimu njagala obiwulirize okutuuka gye kakoma era nsaba okawo obudde tubeere nga tutambula ffenna. Bano boolaba mu kwekalakaasa kuno bonna bannayuganda era balina eddoboozi limu, balina ensonga yaabwe gye bali mu kubeera nga boogerako era ebigambo bye boogera njagala obiwulirize bulungi nnyo, njagala obiwe bulungi obudde kubanga ngenda kubikuwa nga bwe biri. Bannayuganda bano batutte okwekalakaasa kwabwe ku embassy ey'eggwanga erya Uganda mu ggwanga eryo erimanyiddwa nga Switzerland. Jjukira Switzerland ge gamu ku mawanga ag'amaanyi ku lukalu lwa Bulaaya era ge gamu ku mawanga agafandinga agawa obuyambi gavumenti y'eggwanga erya Uganda. Bano nno bali ku embassy y'eggwanga erya Uganda mu ggwanga eryo erya Switzerland era bagamba ambassador ow'eggwanga erya Uganda atuula mu ggwanga eryo yennyini erya Switzerland ateekwa okuvaayo najja n'abeera nga abaako by'abannyonnyola era muzimu ku nsonga ze baleese nga bw'ogenda okuwulira mu bigambo byabwe nga mbikuwa. Bagamba bawakanyiza ddala ne sekuwakanya yenna ekigendererwa ekyabadde ekya Uganda Police okusaanyaawo obulamu bwa His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu era nga mulimu mu message yaabwe mulimu n'ebigambo ebirala ebyokubeera nti oluva wano bayina ewalala gye bagenda ku kitebe ekikulu ekitongole eky'amawanga amagatte oba United Nations. Bano nga bagamba nti tebagenda kusirika, tebagenda kukkiriza ekitongole kino ekya UN okubeera nti ssente oba obuyambi bwandibadde bawa eggwanga erya Uganda nti bubabeere nga bubayambako oba nga buyamba ku ggwanga erya Uganda okubeera nga beekulakulanya okulaba nti eggwanga liva mu mbeera gye lirimu. Bano bagamba nti obuyambi obwo egavumenti y'eggwanga erya Uganda ekulemberwa Generali Yoweri Kaguta Museveni n'abamu ku ba agenti be nga mu abo mwe muli ne ambassador ow'eggwanga erya Uganda mu ggwanga lyammwe lino erya Switzerland tebazikozesa nga bwe bali supposed kubeera nga bazikozesa. Era bano bagamba nti bazze wano kubeera nga baloopa era Yoweri Kaguta Museveni tibwabulwa ebibye byandibanga si birungi oluvannyuma lwa bannayuganda bano okubeera nga tebasalikako musale balumbye embassy ey'eggwanga erya Uganda mu ggwanga lino erya Switzerland era ne bategeeza nti bagenda kuvaawo nga bamaze okufuna ambassador ono abeere nga ayinako byagenda okubannyonnyola olwo embeera ebeere ng'etambula. Weekumire ku mukutu guno ogwa Red Zone TV byonna ogenda kubanga obimanya era mu mboozi endala oba mu ddoboozi eddala eriwuliddwako baalaze nnyo obwennyamivu ku mbeera eri ku Akirewo Kivumbi. Bano nga bagamba tetugenda kubeera nga tukkiriza muganda waffe oyo abeere nga asigala mu kkomera eyo gye yawambibwa gye yateekebwa kubanga tukimanyi bulungi nnyo nti eyo gyali ali mu kutulugunyizibwa. Mukutu gwa Red Zone TV bw'oba tonna subscribe nga kikole bino n'ebirala byonna ogenda kubanga ate obimanya. Kankuwa ebigambo by'abano bye boogera byensaba obeere ng'obiwa obudde ate nga bwe tugenda okubanga tukuleetera emboozi endala. Bw'oba tonnaba kubanga otuwa ekigalo genda awo olaba ekigalo olayikinge kubanga gy'okoma okulayikinga information oba ogiyambako okubeera nga ate etambula. Tuli mu ggwanga erya Switzerland ngezaako okutuusaako kiki ekigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga eryo.
Stop imprisoning our people in different detention places. Stop taking them to military courts. Stop torturing them. Stop killing opposition leaders. Stop all that is happening to NUP supporters. I can't call them sympathizers. So the demonstration is headed headed to deliver that message. Currently, we have Leo Kivumbi, the one you see in the photograph here on the big banner, who is currently in prison and facing all sorts of torture in the military detention. So, sorry, I've got the team when they're doing the preparations, but still I'll home into the Leo Kivumbi photograph. That's the guy who is in jail and being tortured by the junta regime in Uganda. Hopefully, as we know, we will achieve what we'll achieve. And we've done a lot. We've come this far. We are not turning the clock. We will continue to oppose Museveni and his henchmen, and we'll take down the regime. We are NUP. We are not asking for funds. We ask one thing: stop funding the dictator. The placards here you see, and the posters and the banners clearly show we are the NUP chapter, and we want the 18 Ugandans who are being tortured, and the torture is because of your funding. If you stop the funding, these people wouldn't be in power. We can take them on. Stop the torture. Stop the murderous regime. Stop funding them. Stop. You fund our torture. You fund our murder. You fund everything that goes on in Uganda. If you stop that, I'll take you round. These are the photographs. If you see, there's John Bosco Chibalama. There's Joseph Baguma. There's Damulira John. There's Hassan Mubiru. There's Moses Mbabazi, Peter Kilya, Yuda Sempija, Vincent Nalumoso, and Isma Sesazi. All these people, we want a closure. We want to get answers from the junta. We want to know where they are being detained. We want to see where they are being held. We want them out. We want their freedom. We want their freedom. And we want them out. The junta is held responsible for their lives. Now, can we look close into, that's actually Chivumbi. He's held in custody, and the only time we got to see him was in military custody when he was produced in the military court, kangaroo courts. This is totally unacceptable to take civilians into military courts, and military courts are not meant to try civilians. We will not accept this. We will not go with the military courts. Those are kangaroo courts. Again, the emphasis here is free all the political prisoners. We want them out of jail. We want them out of cells. We want them in civilian courts. Chileo Chivumbi should be freed. Bobby Young should be out of prison, and many others held in Communicado who are under torture within this regime. Please, if you listen to this, please follow it up, because we as NUP chapter Europe, NUP chapter UK, we will see and fight to the last to see that the junta is held responsible for the crimes he's committed to Ugandans for the last 40 years. And Ugandan freedom is not bought. We are entitled to our freedom. And that freedom is what we're asking for. Freedom is not bargained for. Anita Monji must resign. She's made a parliament her home. She is so corrupt at nearly £3 billion every week. She's an expensive person to maintain. She is so expensive. She has swindled, so corrupt, and misused the Uganda government money. And moreover, she misuses the taxpayers' money from Europe. Europe is funding these regimes and keeps them funded and oiled. This is not what we want. We want the money to go to the very needy. We want the money to help the people who are most disadvantaged. We want good schools. We want good hospitals. We are not asking for so much. We are asking for basic infrastructure. The team here you see is the NUP chapter UK, NUP chapter Europe, and the people from NUP chapter Europe, and the head of the NUP chapter Europe, who are standing here at the Ugandan embassy to convey a message to the junta. We are not going to back down. We are not going to stop. We are not going to stop at nothing but change the regime, which we should change. Now, that's our new chapter representative in Europe.
Yeah, so, hey, our viewers, the name's Robert. I'm heading the European diaspora team. We're convening in Geneva together with my team. From Austria, we have Majune, General Mari Mumbay, and then Kato is coming from the UK. And we're here yet again for another demonstration to condemn the continued human rights violations by the General Museveni's government. So this is an awareness to our international development partners that given the fact that Uganda is a signatory to the international human rights, then it's safe to say that they should abide by the international human rights regulations. Unfortunately, we've seen that the regime over time has escalated to violate, torture and abduct or illegally arrest civilians, which has gone out of hand. So we are yet again to call our international development partners that they stop legitimize the brutal nature the regime is melting on the civilian life back home in Uganda. As my colleague was initially in our intro introducing to you, we have a very packed one-day demonstration in Geneva. We started off at the Ugandan embassy, which is behind us here, or in front of us here. We'll then move on to the United Nations, where we are going to do a more elaborate and detailed demonstration. So the program is going to be as follows. We've kicked off from here. After here, we're going to be moving to the UN grounds. We'll start, especially at the UN grounds, with commemorating our fallen soldiers. With me here, we have a roll-up where we have all these foreign soldiers. First off, we start with Yasin Kawuma. Everyone knows him as our president's driver. He met his fateful day in Arua so many years ago. It was short date, and we believe he was not the target, but President Bobi Wine was the target. Unfortunately, this gentleman passed away during that act of impunity by the General Museveni's government. Then we have Rita Nabukenya. She was run over by a police vehicle. No evidence was presented as to why they did run over her. Then we have Dan Jiwunye. All these are foreign soldiers for the National Unity Platform, the leading opposition party in Uganda. Frank Senteza was also run over by a police convoy. We have Kalinda or Ziggy Wine. He also perished on a fateful day when he was run over. We have Mumbuke Sharon. We have some other people who have been brutalized. This gentleman is Samakambo. In there was brutally tortured by the police forces on one fateful day. We have Shakira Serubogo. He was a LC5 member in Mukono. He was, as everyone recalls, hanged over night and on that fateful day. Then we have this gentleman Mando, Zebra Mando. He used to be a close friend to our president. He was assassinated brutally by the SFC people who invaded his home state. Then we have a number of people here, some of which the names are not coming out right. We have Kayondo Willie, we have Alachie Chelisa, Kenneth Senyonga Muhammad, and a lot of other people. This is just a drop in the ocean. There's a fraction of the people who have been tortured and murdered intentionally by the state. So this is yet again comes to our attention as diasporans. We really need to call out the government to stop this impunity. And moving on, besides the foreign soldiers, the next program, at least in the UN grounds, we're going to be looking at the people who were abducted, arrested pre-2021 general elections. The 18 abducted people here. We'll talk in detail about these people at the UN ground. Yeah. So we'll be talking about these gentlemen who were abducted pre, during, and post general elections in 2021. These people are still missing. Their loved ones are still missing. The government has not audited them or accounted for their whereabouts. We're going to be talking about this during the course of this day, because here we have a brief time slot, given the fact that it's an embassy area, but we're doing the best we can, that we can at least do something. I know I believe they're looking at us and they're seeing what is going on over here, even if they're in the buildings. That's fair enough. And this sign says, okay, stop, Museveni, stop, arming, Museveni, the message is that Museveni is arming and financing M23 in DRS Congo, which escalates into refugees which end up in Uganda. You have to stop the construction of prisons, build schools, roads and hospitals. That's the message. We need Europe, UK and America to stop military training to the General Museveni's, I think someone rightly put it, thugs. These are people who are attacking and harming and torturing innocent civilians in Uganda. Then you have Museveni and Mohoz stop sodomizing Ugandans. In the recent events coming out of the Stop Corruption campaign, which you've seen by the Gen Zs, if I have to use that one, of Uganda, they arrested a few teenagers, they jailed them, and it came out that most of these kids, men and women, were sodomized. This is unprecedented. It's never happened in Uganda before. It's happening under General Museveni's rule, which is preposterous. So we need, and again, we need to emphasize that General Museveni, given the timeline since 2021 and now, I think it is time to free all the political prisoners. You have failed to charge them. You have failed them to get them convicted. Yet you're still holding them hostage and in your prisons. Not actually in prisons, in military courts. I think I may be corrected, but I mean it's not according to our constitution that one needs to be tried in military courts. So I think what is going on, the recent incident of coercing people you've held for 4 years, is really very unconventional. It's something which is not done before, but it's going on, and I don't think that is going to pay off, especially if you're using your agents to come and coerce the prisoners you've held for 4 years. So come clean if you don't have any charges against, any evidence charging the prisoners. It's about time to release them. So release the political prisoners or charge them, or otherwise stop this impunity of coercing and trying to bribe them off. We've had evidence, we have evidence where you are coercing and trying to bribe off the families of the prisoners. That's not the way you deal with people you've held for 4 years without any conviction. So besides the 18 foreigners, we're going to go over Achileo. Achileo, if you can come over here. Achileo is one of the security guards of the president. Now, what is despicable about the arrest of Achileo is that we are seeing a pattern. What is the pattern I'm talking about? I'm talking about a pattern of General Museveni arresting the security team of Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, the president-elect from 2021 age. He started off by arresting Ekimuguddeko, who is the head of the security team of Bobby Wine, as is famously known as worldwide as an artist. Now, the second one, which was came a victim to the impunity of General Museveni, was Jamshid Kauma. Then he followed up by arresting Motive Kasaja. Then it came a time when he arrested Gaddafi, another security team. And of recent, he ended up with Achileo. So I think you can see the pattern. He wouldn't go for the whole team at a go, but he picks one to deceive and the general public that this is an isolated instances. But what is crazy enough, that is implicating them by planting military military products or materials to them. Let's not be deceived as an international community. We all know that we are living, or General Museveni is a military dictator. He has the most financed and well-equipped and probably professionalized, as he normally calls it, military and police corps. Yeah, so it's inconceivable and it's unbelievable that he could come out, that a normal civilian who has never gone for a military training at some point broke into the military stores of NRM or NRA. Because for me, or for the general public who know General Museveni, we're not facing a military professional group. We're facing an impunitive, call it a terrorist team of men camouflaging to be the Ugandan military corps. So there's no way you can tell me that they found stuff in one of the security teams' possession, home or wherever. How do these people get access to this? These are highly guarded products. So let's General Museveni not fool the world. We know you have a military and you have a very tight security and highly paid and financed military intelligence. There is no one that can come to the military store. So stop with the foolery. Stop with the impunity. We want you to come clean. Release all the political prisoners. Release all the 18 abducted people from the 2021 general elections. So that's where we are. We're still demanding. We will not give way until our brothers and sisters who have families, who have kids, who are still hoping that their loved ones will be released or will be brought to will be served. So I think that's where we are. Kato, would you like to say something? If I'm say, give me a second.
Yes. But now, sorry, I was trying to talk to Uganda, but we are in Switzerland here. Yeah.
Not London.
Comrades from Uganda and the whole world, we are here today. And the theme of today, we are at the Uganda High Commission in Switzerland, Geneva. And the reason why we come here is to expose the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda, who has abused all the human rights in the world. We are here today to talk about our 18 missing brothers and sisters of ours who were brutally kidnapped by the brutal regime of the dictator Museveni of Uganda. We are here to say that we'll never forgive them, we'll never forgive Museveni, and we'll never forget our people. That's the reason why we are coming here today. I came from England to come and join the team here to make sure that the sound, our noise, our suffering goes together with the families of the 18 missing families who are waiting, who have waited for such a very long time, and there is no proof that the 18 missing are still alive. we send a clear message to Museveni that we need our brothers and sisters back. You have accepted that you have them in your custody, and it's time for them either to be taken to court or to be released and come back home. We are here to expose the human rights abuse which are happening in Uganda on a daily basis. We are talking about rape, kidnapping, murder, torture, sodomizing of Ugandans. Will not stop until Museveni has been removed from power. Will not stop until Museveni's thuggery stops on Ugandans. We are here to make the point clear that as long as the brutal dictator is still kidnapping our brothers and sisters, we are going to expose him more. We are calling on the international community to stand with the 45 suffering million Ugandans in condemning the human rights abuses in Uganda, in condemning what is going up in Uganda, and they are keeping quiet. We are here to expose the impunity under this brutal regime of dictator Museveni of Uganda, a dictator who has expired, a dictator of yesterday, a dictator who lives on corruption, a dictator who has not served the Ugandans for the last 40 years. That's why we are standing here. We know the time here at the Uganda High Commission is not a long time which we are given, but from here we'll be going to the UN headquarters where we are going to expose him more. We have a lot to say. It can take us a week to talk about Museveni's atrocities to Ugandans, but we are here for an hour and a half, and we have to make sure that we expose him, we tell the truth, because Museveni has been sanitizing all the crimes, all the murders he has committed in 40 years. 40 years is more than enough. We are talking about the supporters of this brutal regime. Maria Barakaso, that evil woman, she has been sanitizing the crimes committed by the brutal dictator Museveni. She has been sanitizing the murderous regime in Uganda. She has been sanitizing the sodomizing, the raping of Ugandans under this brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. We are here. We will never leave our missing 18 Ugandans. You can look, Olivia Lutaya, she has been in prison for more than 4 years just for standing up against the brutal dictator Museveni. You've got Yasin Kauma. He was murdered just because he was a driver to our elected president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. You see, we've got a lot of our missing brothers. Kazibwe, they've been missing for a very long time. You've got Damulira Christopher, he has been missing for the last 4 years. Bosco John Kibalama,
yes,
he has been missing for the last 4 years. Yes. And Museveni accepted that one of the prime ministers, the prime minister of the dictator Museveni, accepted that they have him in custody. Oh, but for the last 4 years, John Bosco Kibalama is still missing. We know very well that all these our people have been murdered, but Museveni is trying to bribe the families in giving up the search for their loved ones. But as his family to resettle in Sweden. Now, after Museveni having won the rebel war which killed almost 1 million Ugandans for his own benefit, for him to reward Madame Barakaso, they decided a plan. Which is the plan? I'll be going to Congo and Rwanda, create a scenario that there is M23 fighting, and then the refugees are coming to Uganda. Those refugees, the company, the organization which is feeding those refugees in Uganda is owned by Madame Barakaso, the so-called ambassador of Uganda to Switzerland. Now another corner is here. If there are 10,000 refugees who are running from Congo to Uganda, they'll duplicate the number to 100,000. And this...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Amanya n'eddoboozi Aji Abudu omusomi w'eddua. Nkola ku nsonga ez'enjawulo, emirimu nga gikutataganyeko, ebyenfuna byo nga bidobonkanye, ne oba oli bweru wa ggwanga emirimu gya kucankalanako. Jangu kusomere ku ddua okubeda nedda eddua zaabaawo, eddua zisomebwa omuntu n'oterezebwa mu mbeera yonna ebadde ekusibyeko akanyaga. Nina ekyoto kye nsobola okukumira wadde oli bweru wa ggwanga nga toli kumpi wano n'ofuna omukisa ogwo nawe n'osomerwako ku dduwa nga nkuteddeko n'akabaani. Allah ajja kukusaasira, ajja kwanukula. Kuba ku nnamba yange y'essimu 0752 44 71 56 ne ku WhatsApp kwendi mpereza obubaka sobole okukuyamba. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.